I am really, really honored to be here on behalf of the Foundation for Barnes-Jewish Hospital, Barnes-Jewish Hospital, BJC Healthcare. Thank you for joining us for this annual holiday party, which for me is really one of the highlights of the year. It's a time when we get to celebrate all of you and our clinical partners, our partners that take care of the patients at Barnes-Jewish Hospital across BJC now. And it's actually that partnership between our amazing hospital and our staff, our leaders, and you that make Washington University School of Medicine, our medical center, and BJH and BJC really the finest example of academic medicine in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Who agrees with that? Right? Yeah. So we're celebrating all of you in the partnership, and it's great to see everybody here this evening at this great venue. Thank you to my team who helped lead at BJH. I see Angeline and Katie and Paul and so many. Thank you all for what you do. Thank you for our clinical chiefs who are also the chairs of their departments. I see many of you this evening. Thank you for coming. Thank you to our board members of the foundation that are sponsoring this event tonight and help us raise the philanthropy and help us support so many of the programs that help with your partnership, help us take care of patients with some of the most advanced care and some of the best care in the world. And so a big round of applause for our foundation board members who are also here tonight. But of course, the real reason we're here tonight is to celebrate and honor the President's Achievement Award winner every year. And this year, I think you all agree, we have a very special honoree. I poll every year some of our foundation leaders and my team, and we get a smattering of really wonderful names. This year, there was really only one name, and that is Dr. Michael Avedon, who is the chairman of the Department of Anesthesiology, a good friend and colleague to all of us, and he is this year's winner of the President's Achievement Award. So, now, I have some of the standard stuff here that you're just going to have to suffer through for a minute. And then I'll tell you about my relationship with Michael. And I know we're going to hear from others, including the dean and many others that talk about their special relationship and the history of Michael here at Washington University. But he grew up in South Africa and did a lot of his training in the UK. And then came to the department. It reminds me about 25 years ago as a junior faculty member. And I remember that very well because we immediately were on the same team. You managed a lot of very sick hearts and new lungs in the lung transplant program. And so I saw a lot of my colleagues from the lung transplant program here. And I think we all remember when Michael joined the team, what a fantastic addition he was to that team. He became the director of the Division of Cardiothoracic Anesthesiology. He's won a number of prestigious awards, has served on a number of national boards. He's the co-director of the anesthesiology postdoctoral research training program, co-principal investigator of the Center for Perioperative Mental Health, which addresses older patients' mental health needs related to surgery. He's involved in many areas of intensive care research, safety research. He implemented the telemedicine control tower at Barnes-Jewish Hospital to better take care of patients undergoing anesthesia and complicated procedures. Co-principal investigator for multiple THRIVE trials aimed to determine which type of general anesthesia results in the best patient experience and recovery. This is one that's a little scary for me. Led large clinical trials focused on preventing intraoperative awareness. That's not a good thing, right? So, unless the surgeon for sure, but not the patient. So Michael, thanks for that contribution as well. Really, he's led in so many fields of anesthesia. And throughout all of that, he led with his values, true to the mission, true to educational programs, true to his faculty, true to the staff, and true to the mission of Barnes-Jewish Hospital and the university. He was elected to the National Academy in Medicine in 2023 due to his prolific impact on the field. So that's the boilerplate stuff. We got to go through all your accomplishments. I met Michael 25 years ago when we joined that program in lung transplantation. And I think many of you that care for patients and in your other fields and other endeavors understand the phrase of professional joy, working with colleagues to solve complex problems, working with people that you're aligned with. You serve the same mission, you have the same values, you enjoy the work you do. And seems like there's less and less of that these days, but Michael Avedon, over the last 25 years, has poured buckets of professional joy in my life. And probably many of you have had that same experience, whether it was caring for complex patients in the middle of the night and getting through those nights together, whether it was solving research problems, collaborating on different things related to intensive care medicine. And yes, even solving complex budget issues and the annual contract negotiations. And by the way, he learned under the very best, and we're going to hear from Alex Evers in a minute. But even those brought professional joy because Michael was always prepared. He was professional. He was data driven. He had his numbers. And at the end, I think all of us knew we were trying to solve the same problem, which was efficient, high quality care. And so Michael, thank you for all those buckets and buckets of professional joy and your friendship that you brought to me and to so many others in the room. At this time, I'd like to actually ask Dr. David Perlmutter to come up and make a few comments as well. And we'll start, I think, a relatively long string of folks that would like to make comments. Thank you.
Can you hear me in the back? Is it transmitting? As you know, Michael is the Dr. Seymour and Rose T. Brown Professor of Anesthesiology, and he became head of the Department of Anesthesiology in 2019. We are now in a search for his replacement, and we listened to each of the candidates, and they are in incredible awe of being his successor. What we hear about him is that he is a legendary figure in the field. He, as all of you know, when he took over for Alex Evers in 2019, he was taking over the #1 Department of Anesthesiology by a lot, and it continues to be that. And we have phenomenal departments, but and we have others that are #1, but this is #1. It's still #1, and that's part of the story. You heard a little from John about his scientific career. He has distinguished himself by seminal clinical studies that provide the evidence base for clinical interventions that impact the neurological sequelae of anesthesia and surgery. Really, in many ways, emblematic of what Washington University School of Medicine has been in all of the clinical areas. And I want to say that in his leadership of this department, which continues to be able to do amazing things at each part of the tripart mission, including some of the most innovative programs in the world. But to talk about Michael, we have to go into more detail about what his leadership has meant to all of us at WashU Medicine and BJH. When any of us describes a great leader in whatever area of life, politics, business, medical science, there is often a story about handling adversity or tackling an entrenched culture or a sacrifice of self of some major dimension. In the case of Michael Avedon, there are at least several or even more of these stories. I could start with how he guided us through his department and all of the rest of us through the pandemic, including in particular the teams in the ORs and in the ICUs. We thankfully forget these surges of COVID, how sick people were and how scared we were of the virus during those early months. I had the unique experience of witnessing how his team responded to Michael during a unique experience for me, in which I rounded with him on Christmas morning in 2020. And some of you will remember that we had gotten over the first surge, but then the second surge occurred in December of 2020. We walked around the OR, we went to the ICUs of both BJH and SLCH, the faculty, the staff, the CRNAs, the residents and fellows, the nurses, even the ward clerks were so positive on that day. And you could tell how they felt attached to him in the mission of patient care. That most of the world was home with their family. This was an unbelievable, eye-opening experience for me, and it says everything about who Michael is and his impact on the people around him. I should also mention how he leaned into work on improving our culture and climate with his department and the leadership of the EF in 2022, when we were confronted by a crisis of conscience that evolved from a story of alleged sexual harassment of a student in one of our labs. I could mention how he worked diligently and in the most forthright of ways, related to something John just talked to you about, to get a new contract for the department with BJH and the other BJC hospitals that was absolutely critical as we began to see the effects of a massive evolving workforce crisis in anesthesiology late in 2023 and 2024. With his steadfast nature, his imagination and resourcefulness, we have maintained most of our faculty and successfully recruited new faculty in the midst of this crisis. And we have a really great contract with the hospital now for everything that we want to do in this critically important area. His calm, gentle, and positive approach has been instrumental in how we have navigated the threat of our research funding over the many months of this year, 2025. And through all of this, he took our #1 ranked Department of Anesthesiology to an even better place, and now with even more momentum in all of its missions: patient care, education, and clinical and basic science. And to talk about sacrifice and selflessness, Michael has given so much to us during times in which he could have retreated into taking care of his own personal health challenges. These are the stories we will tell about Michael Avedon for many years and generations. A leader among leaders, forthright, steady, calm, positive, gentle, creative, imaginative, and as John said, a friend to all of us. For me personally, it has been such an honor to watch his accomplishments and to know that all I had to do was to encourage him to follow his own instincts. All I ever had to do after Michael met with me was push him out the door. Do you, Michael. Michael, it is deeply meaningful for me and all of us here to be able to recognize you and to be able to recount the stories of how you have had impact on countless lives, so many, including every one of us in this room tonight. Congratulations.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. So my name is Dr. Dineo Cabelli. I'm the head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology and chief of OBGYN at BJH and St. Louis Children's Hospital. It is truly a privilege to be here to honor Dr. Michael Avedon. Before I start, I've got to explain a few things. So I have my cowboy boots on. So I'm part Texan, but I'm also part South African. And so that's probably why I'm up here. And so the African piece of this is that you have to have speeches. You've got to have the speeches. So I have to do a little formal speech. I know you heard some of it, but this is very African and I would be in big trouble if I didn't do this part. And I had planned to bring my 89-year-old dad here this evening, but it's a little too cold and I would worry about him. But I'm going to make my dad proud. So first of all, I have to slow down, and you may find that I have hints of a South African accent come out every once in a while, so just pardon me. So Dr. Michael Avedon is the Dr. Seymour and Rose T. Brown Professor of Anesthesiology, head of the Department of Anesthesiology and Professor of Psychiatry and Surgery. He received his medical degree from the premier university in all of Africa, University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. He completed his anesthesiology residency and certificate in anesthesiology and intensive care in South Africa, and then moved to the UK, where he was a clinical lecturer in cardiothoracic anesthesiology and intensive care at the famous King's College Hospital. He joined WashU Medicine in 1999, and this is really impressive because he rose through the ranks. You see the South African accents coming out, really impressive, okay? Then, he became the head of the department in 2019. As Dean Perlmutter mentioned, he leads one of the most, I would say the most successful and innovative anesthesiology departments in the United States, currently ranked #1 in NIH funding. He himself is an accomplished clinician, educator, and investigator. You heard about his accolades. He's recognized, truly recognized internationally for his leadership. And not only in the prevention of intraoperative awareness, I like that, Dr. Lynch, intraoperative awareness for the surgeon, not for the patient, and delirium, as well as the relationship of general anesthesia to neurocognitive outcomes of surgery. He's received so many honors and awards for his work, including his recent election in the National Academy of Medicine. So that's the formal part. And Tata Muhulu, my dad would be proud. So now I switch over to how Michael and I bonded over the years. We have bonded over our shared heritage, South African heritage. We've also bonded over our deepest admiration of Nelson Mandela. So in 1994, which is the year I graduated from medical school, I was in South Africa during the elections. And this was also the year that Michael completed his residency. This was an exciting time in South Africa because this was the first ever fully democratic election, and Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as the nation's first Black president, a mere 4 years after his release from 27 years in prison. So under what seemed to be impossible circumstances, Nelson Mandela led South Africa and actually ended up transferring power and leaving the presidency after he succeeded in a peaceful manner, which is really, in many cases, unheard of. And he led with unwavering commitment to justice, a long-term strategic vision. He had values of empathy, forgiveness, resilience, and humility, and he had a true dedication to empowering others. So Michael, my colleague and friend, you live the South African philosophy of Ubuntu, I am because we are. You are thoughtful and compassionate. You are authentic and brilliant. You are courageous, and you lead by example in the Mandela leadership style. So I'm going to close, but please indulge me with a few quotes from Nelson Mandela that represent who Michael Avedon is as a leader and as a person. Number 1, lead from the back and let others believe they are in the front. Number 2, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers fear. And number 3, which may be one of my favorite, may your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. So let's raise our glasses, if you have one, to Dr. Michael Avedon. You inspire us to do better and be better human beings. Congratulations on this great honor, my friend. Cheers.
I am honored to have the opportunity to toast Michael Avedon. I know that in this audience there is a long list of people who would like to be standing here and sharing their kind remarks. I've had the privilege of knowing Michael in many different roles. I hired him as a faculty member, actually twice, provided early scientific and career mentorship, and then collaborated with him. Michael was my successor as department chair, and for the past 6 years, I've worked for him. Most importantly, for 25 years, I have counted Michael and Tracy Avedon as close personal friends and have greatly enjoyed sharing the growth of their children, Naomi and Alon. Now, Michael has rewarded me by fulfilling every mentor's dream that their protege's accomplishments will build on and surpass those of the mentor. He has been a strong leader whose tangible accomplishments, as the dean mentioned, include doubling the size of and funding of what was already a top-ranked anesthesiology research program, and dramatically expanding the clinical ICU and anesthesiology practices. His paramount contribution, however, has been as an inspirational leader and as what I would say is a sculptor of culture. As already mentioned, he led the Department of Anesthesiology, Barnes Jewish Hospital, and BJC through the COVID-19 pandemic with remarkable effectiveness, personally leading and serving on the front lines of patient care. He united the community and academic practices of anesthesiology into a cohesive unit, and he successfully took on the decades-long challenge of integrating the culture and workflow of nurse anesthesia and physician anesthesia. Finally, as others have mentioned, he has championed fairness, decency, and respect in the workplace with great success. I thought I'd left Michael a strong department when I stepped down as chair, but he has clearly made it so much better. Michael, thank you. While much of his achievement is due to Michael's character, values, and hard work, the support and counsel of Tracy through a challenging job and challenging times has been a key factor in his success. I should also note that Michael has had some other unfair advantages, most notably that charming and disarming South African accent. Who can resist? In all seriousness, I ask you to raise your glasses to Michael Avidan, a remarkable leader and a great friend. Thank you, Michael.
Good evening. So I'm John, by the way, Michael's cousin. I was told that I have 2 minutes to get this done, and I'd written a 5-minute speech. But it's fine. I went through, I removed the footnotes and the diagrams and the bits where I compare him to Beyonce, and I think we'll be okay. Well, I must be a fool, because only a fool agrees to speak publicly just before Michael. To do so is to guarantee one's own swift and comprehensive eclipse, rather like agreeing to perform card tricks as the opening act for Houdini. In any case, duty demands a sacrifice, so let me start with the obvious. In a room full of Michael's peers, I am almost certainly the least qualified person here to speak to his professional achievements. I'm just the cousin who flew in from the UK to tell you what you all already know, which is how extraordinary he is. But also to say how much he means to me. And honestly, I wouldn't travel this far for my own award. To me, Michael has always been the older brother I never had, the person I loved and admired and looked up to growing up, and the person I love and admire and look up to still. And like many who know him, I long ago made peace with the mathematical certainty that I will never be his intellectual equal. One adjusts. But what makes Michael truly special is not just his brilliance, but his kindness, his generosity, his integrity, his insatiable joie de vivre, his infectious enthusiasm for the ridiculous, his love of art, of music, of beauty, his own extraordinary writing and poetry. And alongside all of this is Michael's genuine joy in seeing others thrive. He doesn't just succeed himself, he elevates those around him, his colleagues, his friends, his family, me. And I've always been able to trust Michael without hesitation, to confide in him, knowing that he will guard my confidence, but he'll also tell me I'm wrong when he thinks I am. And that's when you know someone truly has your back. I'd also like to pass on very warm greetings from Michael's mother, Raquel, who many of you know as Emmy, to Mo, to Bernadette, to many other friends here. She is deeply sorry that for health reasons she can't do this trip, but you will know how proud she is of her son and how grateful for your friendship over the years. So, from the cousin who crossed an ocean to say it, cuz, this honor really couldn't be more richly deserved. And congratulations, and it's a profound joy to celebrate you. Thank you.
It is my profound pleasure to award you the President's Achievement Award from Barnes Jewish Hospital for your amazing service. Here you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. You're next.
Well, I'm going to ask for your indulgence for a few more minutes. And I'm sorry if you're all tired standing and listening to people talking, but please listen to me for a little while longer. Give me a couple of seconds to catch my breath. I knew that this would be difficult for me, but I think it's a little more difficult than I anticipated. So first of all, good evening, family, friends, and esteemed colleagues. And I hope you don't mind if I refer to my notes. It would just be helpful to me. John, being recognized with the BJH President's Achievement Award is deeply meaningful and profoundly humbling. I'm especially privileged because this award comes from an institution led by my longtime friend and colleague, Dr. John Lynch. As you heard, John and I have walked many paths together these past 25 years, caring side by side for vulnerable patients after lung transplants and with critical illness, navigating the COVID-19 pandemic, and working to advance anesthesiology, critical care, and pain medicine across our hospitals. John, I hope you've enjoyed our partnership as much as I have. That's the giant pen that had to be used to sign our service agreement because it was such a giant service agreement. Before I continue, I want to acknowledge the Foundation for Barnes Jewish Hospital for the superb work that it does. Please support the foundation wholeheartedly. I am directing the grant that accompanies the BJH President's Achievement Award to our Anesthesiology Summer Research, or ASSURE Fellowship, which provides college students from the St. Louis region with mentored entry into science and healthcare. Graduates have gone on to careers in medicine, nursing, research, and related fields. Here is a brief video showcasing our ASSURE program. Patrick?
If I could go through the ASSURE program, I'd go through it again. I'm really, really happy that I went through it. I think it set me up to be not only the scientist that I hope to become, but also the person that I am today.
I'm Rob Giroux. I'm the Vice Chair for Research in the Department of Anesthesiology, and I am the founding director of the Anesthesiology Summer Research Fellowship, or the ASSURE program. The ASSURE program is a 10-week summer fellowship program. We attract students from local colleges and universities, or St. Louis area students who are attending college elsewhere but are coming back to St. Louis for the summer. We provide them a 10-week intensive research and mentoring experience. They have the opportunity to work in a lab or a clinical research environment at the Washington University Medical Campus. We have some class-based didactic instruction, things about what does it look like to work in a research lab? How do you think about doing clinical research? What are the steps to getting into graduate school or medical school? We have a clinical shadowing component where the students get the opportunity to go into an operating room with an anesthesiologist or a nurse anesthetist, and ongoing mentorship. At the end, the students wind up having the opportunity to present their work, and we're not done there because that's really just the beginning of our relationship with these students. We have ongoing mentoring relationships with the students for years to come.
When I arrived in the ASSURE program, I was assigned to a mentor, Amina, and she basically just showed me everything that she does in the lab. I would say highlights during the ASSURE program was really all of the connections that were made from the program. There were 2 clinical days where we would shadow, talking to like those physicians, and then the physicians that came in during lunch, networking with them. I was able to shadow a CRNA and also an anesthesiologist outside of that, just to get more of a familiarity.
I was in lab 35, 40 hours a week. I was troubleshooting, I was learning surgeries, I was learning different techniques. That really allowed me to be able to determine that going into grad school was the right decision for me.
We had a vision at the beginning about how this might work, but it's really come to fruition. To me, Assure means opportunity. To me, Assure means mentorship and belonging. To me, Assure means possibility.
And just to note that the Assure program has previously been supported by the Foundation for Barnes Jewish Hospital. So thank you to those of you who have come to celebrate tonight, especially those who have traveled great distances. To all who are enjoying the evening in this stunning venue, may we continue to inspire one another and reaffirm our shared commitment to health, knowledge, and education. My goal in this speech is to be sincere without straying into sentimentality. For those who do not know, I have stage 4 cancer. The diagnosis hit me like a train, shattering my dreams and derailing my imagined future. My oncologist, Brian Van Tine, thank you for that, challenged my despair. When his innovative treatment regimen slowed progression of my cancer, he told me that we were winning our chess game. And I laughed heartily at his unbridled optimism. I knew then, as I know now, that this is a chess game none of us can ultimately win. But in an essay to be published shortly, actually next week, in JAMA, I wrote, "It is both easy and lazy to conclude that I am losing my chess game against death. We cannot allow death to signify defeat, because that would imply that we are all doomed. Winning in life must be about loving, contributing to others, growing, and having many rich experiences. By these metrics, I am undoubtedly the victor ludorum, the winner of the games. And trust me, thank you. And trust me, you can probably glean from looking at me. Trust me, I have never won a sports trophy in my life, so I'm definitely taking this one. Allow me to elaborate. First and foremost, I'm a winner because I love deeply and I am loved. Many of those I love are celebrating with me tonight, which is especially poignant. Second, I have been given the immense privilege of contributing to others. To those I have helped, I thank you for allowing me to play even a small role in propelling your successes. Through my work at WashU Medicine and BJC Health, I have sought to make meaningful impact on our community, giving my life great purpose. Third, I have learned much throughout my life and continue to learn every day. Scientific exploration is one of my greatest joys. I have grown in recent years and have become humble about my place in the cosmos. But while I am infinitesimally small, I'm still immeasurably important to a few people. Finally, I have learned to cherish every experience as if it could be my last. Traveling with my family, sharing meals with friends, even teaching my children mathematics, although my children likely disagree about cherishing geometry with Dad. Those who have spoken tonight have shared generous and gracious words, so meaningful to me. I can't express how much you've touched me with your words. Thank you. Dean Perlmutter, you are the most inspiring and dedicated leader I know. Serving on your leadership team and achieving positive outcomes despite daunting odds has been a highlight of my career. Now, several of you present have been my clinicians, caring for me at my most vulnerable. You have transformed my life in countless ways, and my gratitude is boundless. My oncologist, Brian Van Tyne, representing the best of WashU Medicine and BJC Health, deserves special mention. A gifted scientist, clinician, and educator, and one of the kindest people I have ever met. My relationship with Brian has been one of the most meaningful of my life. When my situation was dire, Brian and his incredible colleagues, including Angie Herby, Sasha Harburg, and Brittany Shetterly, made bold, scientifically grounded treatment decisions. That remarkable team right there has gifted me precious additional time with my beloved wife, Tracy, my kind children, Naomi and Alon, other dear family members, and all the wonderful people I love. Tonight, rather than dwell on sorrow or fear, I choose to focus on gratitude, connection, and the extraordinary honor of being here with all of you. I appreciate you venturing out on this chilly winter evening and supporting the Foundation for Barnes Jewish Hospital. I close my talk with insightful words from Nelson Mandela, followed by my take-home message. My children, by the way. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. So, let's all be victorious in our chess games, not by checkmating perceived adversaries, but by savoring life's many wonders and enriching the lives of those around us. Thank you very much for this honor, and thank you for coming.
Congratulations, Michael. And thank you to all of you for being here tonight. My name is David Bruns, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving as the Vice President of the Foundation for Barnes Jewish Hospital. We are deeply grateful to be honoring you tonight, Michael. However, you're not the only Avedon we're here to celebrate tonight, because tomorrow we have a very special birthday to celebrate. Can I invite the family to come up here for a quick photo? And a little celebration. Elon, I heard tomorrow is your 12th birthday. So you have 300 of your closest friends here this evening who are going to sing happy birthday to you. So, a 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear one. Happy birthday to you. And we have a little gift for you. I'll take that. You can open it. Let's see. Ooh. Now you have a matching jersey with your father. Happy birthday. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful holiday. Thank you very much.